crescent and almost a new moon on the 25th. So it would have been very, very dark over Iran tonight, and you need that in order to bomb. That's the ideal condition for something like a B-2 that is, yes, it's stealth, but it still has to be escorted in case any Iran were to put up any planes or there were any opportunities to fire on those B-2s, which are such valuable and very, very special planes. Only the U.S. military has this kind of weaponry and this capability. No other country in the world could have carried off what occurred tonight at those 3 uranium enrichment sites in Iran.
Yeah, Jen, you're exactly right on the operational security here and the fact that there were obviously some red herrings, and in a world where decisions are made and the world digests the decision even before it's made because of social media and everyone's watching everywhere, this was a pretty amazing operation. When you start thinking that the president said within 2 weeks, we are 2 days from within 2 weeks, and this happens with a post on Truth Social and no other word really getting out ahead of that is pretty stunning.
The other extraordinary.
Moving on, this is very interesting, at least to me. If you guys follow the if you guys watch the Netflix documentary about the hunt of Osama bin Laden, I'm sure you saw that many people on Twitter kind of knew something was going on, in Pakistan at least, and they started tweeting about it because they saw the helicopters and stuff like that. Well, similar situation happened this time. Roughly 30 minutes before President Trump tweeted about the operation, someone was tweeting about something's going on at the Isfahan atomic energy area. And here's the tweet on your screen. Very, very interesting how people who are around the area are tweeting before any official confirmation of something going on. We saw this happen with the Osama raid, and we're seeing this happen right now. Now, after roughly an hour after the President Trump's announcement, we started getting some news from Iran. Again, just to remind everyone, it is like nighttime when this happened in Iran. So it's pretty common for TVs to not make any statement, but it was a big deal. So an hour after everything went down, we got confirmation from the Iranian TV, which is basically controlled by the regime. So they wouldn't confirm this unless they had permission from the government officials. So this is what they confirmed. First, they said all the facilities were evacuated. They were empty, so US didn't get anything. When in reality, they always pull this card. When US was carrying out Operation Rough Riders in Yemen, every time we would strike a building where some commander or the Houthi soldier was staying at, he would die in the strike, but the Houthis always would announce saying that, hey, he didn't die from the strike, he died from heart attack, even though he was in the same building. They always pull this card where they don't want to give credit where the credit is due. But just a little after this, we got some confirmation about attacks on the nuclear facilities. This is from the Qom Crisis Management Headquarters. After air defenses in Qom were activated, hostile targets identified, part of the Fordo nuclear site was attacked. This is the statement they made. Then just a few minutes after this, we also got a statement from an Iranian official saying that we witnessed attack at Isfahan and Natanz nuclear sites. Now, these are the 2 sites that Israel has been attacking all this time. But the problem was, even these sites have facilities deep underground. So I think what US is doing is just making sure that Iran doesn't have anything left over to restart and pick up their nuclear program where they left off. Because at the end of the day, the goal of this whole operation, the goal of the US getting involved is to make sure the Iranian nuclear program is done for. So even if we leave off a little bit of uranium, or even if we leave off just one of the facilities, that means the whole thing is a failure, because that would mean Iran can pick off where they left off. In fact, Iran has more nuclear sites. This is where I want to show you guys the map of the Iranian nuclear sites, because they have more sites than just these 3 that US involved. But those other sites, Israel has been attacking them all this time. So they've been going after them. These 3 were the hardest to hit because they were under the ground. And that's why US made sure to send the B-2s for these. But all the other sites, Israel has been taking care of this. And in fact, we have some footage of it. Right here, we made the show about it. You can watch. Take a look at this before and after of Iranian nuclear arc facility. Israel just destroyed it dead center. In fact, they also published the video of how they took it out. Let's watch. As you can see, multiple explosions. So far, no radiation detected. So, no published the video of how they took it out. Let's watch.
let Iran get nuclear weapons. So I don't think he misled. You might disagree with him, but you couldn't say
determined based on Iran's response at this point.
So, Mike, I have to ask, let's kind of walk our viewers back. Earlier in the day, there was so much reporting about the B-2 bombers, 6 of them that were flying, it was reported, to the west, toward Guam. Jennifer Griffin, our colleague at Fox, who reports alongside you at the Pentagon, said this, that the true flight path was likely east, directly toward Iran, and what appears to have been a calculated deception. I'm not a military expert by any means. A B-2 plane, a B-2 jet, what is it? What is its payload? Obviously, a very large payload in order to carry a 30,000-pound bomb. Those bunker buster bombs, 30,000 pounds each. We used 6 of them. Also, we use multiple Tomahawk missiles here. If you could, walk us through the materiel that was used.
So as you mentioned, the B-2 bombers are housed at a military base in Missouri. So that's where they took off from. As Jen Griffin reported, it seems like all the reporting we saw about some of the B-2s going west was actually somewhat of a deception. It shouldn't be hard, or that shouldn't be too difficult to think through or prove, considering the Pentagon announced earlier in the week that they had forward positioned a refueler aircraft in Europe. And so the refueler aircraft allow for the B-2 bomber to be refueled while in the air. So there is a possibility that these B-2s went right from Missouri to the Middle East and back, having to be refueled in the air several times, but that is a possibility. And then, as you mentioned, these bombers carry, or in this instance, we've been told carried the 30,000. It's called the Massive Ordnance Penetrator. It's one of the largest non-nuclear weapons the U.S. has, and it's specifically designed to hit a hardened underground target. So that's exactly why they were using it to hit the nuclear facilities in Iran that were underground.
I need to make some more.
So, Mike, you remember that some
pictures
of
like
the
this,
debate throughout the last week was,
showing the
especially
stock
in
market.
U.S. defense circles, even within the White House, it was reported that Trump and others, they weren't so sure that the bunker buster bombs could do the job. Has that been disabused as of tonight, according to the president? The president is saying that nuclear weapons, the nuclear program, rather, of Iran has been completely obliterated. So all the worry that the bunker busters might not do the job, was that much ado about nothing, or no?
Uber,
Well, so I think it's a little too early to tell exactly, because the president sort of gave an overall assessment of the operation, but we don't know any of the specifics. We haven't seen.
Let's see what we're talking about here. This is a bunker buster strategy. This is what we gotta get familiar with here. Let's see, y'all. Let me show y'all what I'm looking at. I'm gonna keep this, and I'm gonna rename it. And we're gonna do something like, is the window? Capture specific window that's already open. Boom. And then we'll do something like this. And this one's gonna be rename. Obviously say that it contains unoriginal. Oh shit. Okay, let me get out. Shit, my bad. Your live is not eligible for recommendation. Restricted. Okay, chill. I'm getting out lit. See if it's gonna let me, bro. It's looking like this. Whatever, Shad. What up? My bad. I will not show that again. My bad. He said, wait. Absolutely not, buddy. Alright, well. Okay, so it won't let me show nothing. Alright, well, let me use the audio at least. See, basically it's saying